These celebrity moments were so wild that they didn't just make headlines, they took over the entire internet. Kendrick Lamar didn't just perform at the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, he set the internet on fire. With a stage that looked like it belonged in a museum of symbolism, guest stars that made you do a double take, yes, that was Samuel L. Jackson, and a few well-placed lyrical jabs, Kendrick made sure this wasn't just another halftime show, it was a statement.
Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to sell black one.
From the split American flag backdrop to his outfit packed with hidden messages, every detail had people pausing, rewinding, and overanalyzing like it was a college literature class. And just when the internet thought it had seen it all, Kendrick seemed to throw some shade at Drake, dropping lines like, "They tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence," before closing with a mic drop worthy "game over." Subtle? Not really. Effective? Absolutely.
Turn this TV off, turn this...
With a record-breaking 133 million viewers tuning in, this halftime show didn't just make waves. It caused a tsunami of tweets, memes, and think pieces. Love him or hate him, Kendrick Lamar once again proved that when he steps onto a stage, the culture shifts. Taylor Swift might be America's sweetheart, but even she couldn't escape the wrath of Philly sports fans at Super Bowl 2025. Once a proud Eagles supporter, Taylor found herself on the wrong side of the crowd after switching allegiances to the Kansas City Chiefs, thanks to her relationship with tight end Travis Kelce. So, when her face popped up on the Jumbotron, the stadium didn't erupt in cheers, it erupted in boos. Her reaction? A legendary, unbothered side-eye that instantly became meme material. If anyone knows how to handle drama, it's Taylor. The moment wasn't just a reminder of the NFL's fan loyalty, it was a viral sensation. With other A-listers like Jay-Z and Sir Paul McCartney also in attendance, the Super Bowl had no shortage of star power, but Taylor's icy yet iconic response stole the show. Adam walked into the Oscars like it was a casual brunch, and somehow ended up stealing the whole show. Dressed in his signature sweatshirt and shorts, he immediately became an easy target for Conan, who didn't hold back in his opening monologue. Adam, being Adam, played along, dramatically pretending to take offense before joking about his formal wear. But he wasn't done yet. In a perfectly chaotic move, he faked a walkout, only to stop, sneak up behind Timothy and yell "Chalamet" right into his ear before pulling him into an exaggerated hug.
Chalamet!
The moment was a hilarious nod to Nicki's viral Golden Globes joke about Timothy's name, and the audience ate it up. Within minutes, the internet was flooded with memes, proving once again that Adam doesn't need an Oscar to steal the show. He just needs to show up in sweatpants. Jeremy took method acting to caffeinated extremes by literally bathing in coffee grounds. Jeremy's 2025 Dunkin' Super Bowl ad was nothing short of brutal chaos.
Just trying to find the character.
We got to battle the barista buds.
I'm all in for Dunkin'.
Known for his ultra-serious method acting, he flipped the script in the best way possible, by fully committing to the role of a Dunkin' coffee connoisseur. And when we say fully committed, we mean fully immersed, literally. In a moment of absurd brilliance, Jeremy dunked himself into a vat of coffee grounds, dramatically inhaling the aroma as if he were preparing for the most intense role of his life. The ad, part of Dunkin's Dun Kings campaign with Ben and other celebs, was pure comedy gold. It wasn't just about coffee, it was Jeremy proving he can take a joke, poking fun at his own reputation in a way that had audiences in stitches. Fans couldn't get enough of seeing the Succession star embrace the ridiculousness, and within minutes, the internet was flooded with memes. From award-winning drama to full-body coffee immersion, Jeremy showed he can do it all, because apparently, there's no acting challenge too big, or coffee vat too deep for a true method actor. Barry Keoghan plus a donkey? The internet never stood a chance. Barry's 2025 Squarespace Super Bowl ad was pure magic. Whimsical, hilarious, and just the right amount of ridiculous. Titled "A Tale as Old as Websites," the ad transported viewers to a charming fictional past, where websites were delivered door-to-door like newspapers. And who better to deliver them than Barry, riding a donkey named Don Mosley through the stunning Irish countryside? The nod to his Banshees of Inisherin days had fans buzzing, but the real star was the ad's creativity. With its clever humor, breathtaking visuals, and Barry's natural charm, it quickly became one of the Super Bowl's standout moments. The internet ate it up, proving once again that if Barry's on screen and there's a donkey involved, it's bound to go viral. Kieran won an Oscar and immediately started negotiating for more kids. Kieran's 2025 Academy Awards speech had everything: charm, wit, and an unexpected baby proposal. After winning Best Supporting Actor, he took a moment to call out his wife, Jazz, in the most hilarious way possible, reminding everyone of a playful deal they made after his Emmy win, where she jokingly agreed to have another child if he got an Oscar. Kieran took things up a notch. Instead of settling for one, he cheekily suggested 4, turning to Jazz with a smirk and a casual, no pressure.
He said, "I will give you 4 when you win an Oscar."
The crowd erupted in laughter, and by the time he wrapped it up with, "Let's get cracking on those kids," the internet was already running wild with memes. His speech was the perfect mix of gratitude and humor, proving that even on Hollywood's biggest night, Kieran was still the effortlessly funny guy we all love. Cynthia Erivo didn't just perform, she owned the Oscar stage. Her breathtaking rendition of Defying Gravity at the 2025 Academy Awards was nothing short of a masterclass in vocal power. Teaming up with Ariana Grande, she opened the ceremony with a spellbinding medley from Wicked and The Wizard of Oz. But when she launched into Defying Gravity, the entire theater held its breath. With every soaring note, Cynthia proved why she's a vocal powerhouse, bringing the audience to its feet in a thunderous standing ovation. Social media instantly flooded, with fans calling it one of the best Oscars performances in years. Critics raved about her stage presence, vocal control, and the sheer emotion she poured into every note. And with Wicked landing 10 Academy Award nominations, including a Best Actress nod for Cynthia, this wasn't just a performance. It was a defining moment in her career, one that solidified her place among Hollywood's greatest musical talents. The Oscars are known for surprises, but no one saw this coming. The 2022 Academy Awards took an unexpected turn when Will Smith stormed the stage and slapped Chris Rock in front of a stunned audience.
Oh, wow!
It all started when Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, referencing G.I. Jane. At first, the crowd laughed, thinking it was part of the show, until Will walked up and smacked Rock across the face. A tense silence fell over the room as Will returned to his seat and yelled, "Keep my wife's name out of your expletive mouth." The moment instantly went viral, overshadowing the entire ceremony, including Will's Best Actor win for King Richard. The fallout was swift. Will issued a public apology, but the Academy responded by banning him from all events for 10 years. The slap became one of the most watched moments in Oscars history, forever etched into pop culture as one of Hollywood's wildest live TV moments. From sold-out arenas to egging mansions, Justin Bieber's 2014 meltdown had it all. Long before his more mature rebrand, Justin was making headlines for all the wrong reasons. One of the wildest, when he decided to pelt his neighbor's Calabasas mansion with eggs, causing a shocking $20,000 in damage. The pop star's bad boy antics quickly caught up with him. Security footage and 911 calls surfaced, leading to a police raid on his home. The result? Justin pleaded no contest to vandalism, got 2 years of probation and 5 days of community service, and was forced to shell out $80,900 in damages. This incident was just one of many legal troubles at the time, including reckless driving and heated feuds with neighbors. Eventually, he decided to move on. Literally. Selling the house to Khloe Kardashian and leaving behind one of the most bizarre celebrity scandals of the decade. Lady Gaga didn't just break the internet. She butchered the fashion rulebook with her 2010 MTV VMA meat dress. Gaga turned heads and stomachs when she strutted onto the stage in a raw beef ensemble, complete with a matching hat and purse. Designed by Frank Fernandez, the outfit wasn't just about shock value, it carried a message. Gaga used the moment to protest the US military's "don't ask, don't tell" policy, declaring that rights could be stripped away as easily as meat from bone. While some praised her for making a bold statement, animal rights groups were not amused. Despite the drama, the dress became an iconic pop culture artifact, later preserved and displayed in museums. Over a decade later, it remains one of the most unforgettable moments in award show history. Here are 10 shocking celebrity scandals you won't believe. Let's dive in. Blake and Justin's feud has Hollywood shaken. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, once charming co-stars in It Ends With Us, now find themselves in a real-life drama that not even Hollywood could script. Their behind-the-scenes tension during filming has snowballed into a full-blown legal showdown. Blake fired the first shot in December 2024, claiming Justin's less-than-professional behavior during a slow dancing scene left her uneasy. Justin's camp quickly responded with footage from the scene, insisting everything was strictly business, but Blake's team wasn't buying it, saying the video only proved her point. Things heated up when Blake claimed Justin's production team of launching an online blitz to tarnish her image, with the New York Times even sharing alleged texts hinting at Justin pulling the strings. Justin, however, denied it all and hit back with not one but two lawsuits. One against the Times for libel, and another £400 million suit aimed at Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist Leslie Sloan, citing damaging claims and unfair pressure tactics. Adding fuel to the fire, Ryan couldn't resist cracking a joke about the whole ordeal during SNL 50, the anniversary special, leaving Blake reportedly stunned. Can't believe these two went from co-stars to courtroom rivals. Diddy's life has become a wild ride of scandal and chaos. Diddy has flipped the celebrity world on its head with a whirlwind of jaw-dropping claims that feel straight out of a Hollywood thriller. In 2024, he found himself in hot water after being arrested on serious charges linked to unlawful activities, facing the possibility of a lifetime behind bars if things don't go his way. The feds claim he ran a troublesome operation through his infamous parties. Let's just say these weren't your average soirees. Picture baby oil, IV drips, and plenty of eyebrow-raising antics that had everyone whispering, "Wait, what?" Things got even messier when more than a dozen legal claims surfaced, blaming Diddy for everything from harmful conduct to unacceptable behavior, with some stories dating all the way back to the early 2000s. One particular case even mentioned an unnamed A-lister allegedly crossing the line while Diddy stood by. Yep, it's as wild as it sounds. And just when you thought it couldn't get more dramatic, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie dropped a claim that was settled almost faster than you could refresh your feed, leaving fans wondering what really happened behind those closed doors. If this were a movie, we'd all be glued to the screen waiting for the next twist. But for Diddy, this is one plot he probably wishes never made it to production. Kanye's antics are more unpredictable than the weather. Kanye West, now known as Ye, is a walking headline, constantly stirring up drama with his unpredictable behavior. Remember the 2009 VMAs? He stormed the stage during Taylor Swift's speech to declare Beyoncé's video the best. Talk about stealing someone's thunder. Then there was his support for the US president, rocking the Make America Great Again hat and even chilling at the White House. And who could forget his 2020 presidential run, complete with erratic speeches and controversial ideas? But the chaos doesn't stop there. After his divorce from Kim K, he went after Pete Davidson with disturbing social media posts. Most recently, he and his wife Bianca Censori crashed the 2025 Grammys, causing a scene that got them escorted out. Bianca's outfit definitely raised eyebrows. He even aired a Super Bowl ad that led to him selling swastika-emblazoned t-shirts. Seriously, what will Ye do next? It's like he's on a mission to keep the world on its toes, one scandal at a time. You just can't make this stuff up, folks. Johnny and Amber's drama was the celebrity mess we couldn't look away from. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's defamation trial was a whirlwind of claims, tears, and bizarre testimonies that had everyone glued to their screens. Their relationship, which began in 2009 and led to marriage in 2015, quickly spiraled into a public spectacle of reports of wrongdoing and unacceptable actions. The trial stemmed from a 2018 op-ed Amber wrote in The Washington Post, calling herself an advocate for safety and well-being without naming Johnny. He sued for defamation, she countersued, and what followed was a 6-week televised spectacle filled with headline-making moments. From a heated trip to Australia to clashing psychological evaluations, the courtroom felt more like a blockbuster drama. Johnny denied all improper behavior claims, while Amber insisted she faced emotional strain, physical altercations, and inappropriate behavior. Just when things couldn't get more surprising, Kate Moss appeared as a witness, adding a plot twist no one saw coming. The jury awarded Johnny $10 million in damages, later reduced to $350,000, and Amber $2 million for part of her countersuit. The saga ended when Amber settled by paying Johnny $1 million. What a roller coaster. Will went from Hollywood sweetheart to headline chaos real quick. The guy has had his fair share of scandalous headlines that could fill a Hollywood script. The most infamous? That Oscar slap heard around the world. In 2022, Will stormed the stage to smack comedian Chris Rock after he made a joke about Jada's shaved head. Talk about a dramatic exit. But wait, there's more. Rumors have swirled about Will allegedly paying $2 million to keep a past relationship under wraps. Speculation about his friendship with Dwayne Martin raised eyebrows, especially when court documents hinted at some steamy secrets. And who could forget Will's open marriage with Jada? Their candid discussions about love and relationships have left fans both astonished and intrigued. From her revealing that they separated in 2016 to their unconventional approach to marriage, it's been a wild ride. Recently, Will even had to clarify that he wasn't involved in Sean Diddy Combs' infamous parties, because why not add another layer to the drama? With all this chaos, it's clear that Will knows how to keep things interesting. Sabrina's sweet image has a surprisingly spicy side. Sabrina Carpenter has stirred up her fair share of headlines. Remember the Feather music video filmed in a Catholic church? It sparked quite the conversation, with the Diocese of Brooklyn expressing surprise over its bold visuals. The video, filled with dark humor and unexpected twists, had everyone talking, all while Sabrina effortlessly danced through the chaos in a chic black dress. Then there was the whole Olivia Rodrigo-Joshua Bassett love triangle. When Olivia dropped Driver's License, fans went into detective mode and pointed fingers at Sabrina. She was labeled a homewrecker by some. Sabrina responded with her own song, Skin, but denied it was a diss track. More recently, Sabrina's bold stage performance in LA raised eyebrows. During Bedchem, she performed intimate gestures with a man behind a curtain. Some fans thought it was too much, especially given her younger audience. And let's not forget the rumors that her ex, Barry Keoghan, cheated on her with a TikTok influencer. The internet was buzzing with speculation after a gossip account claimed he was getting very cozy with someone else. Looks like Sabrina's keeping life as unpredictable as her next hit single. Ellen's nice girl facade crumbled faster than a cheap set prop. Ellen DeGeneres, the queen of daytime TV, went from beloved talk show host to the center of a scandal that had everyone buzzing. In 2020, whispers about a toxic workplace on the Ellen DeGeneres show erupted into a full-blown drama. Former staffers claimed that the friendly host was anything but nice behind the scenes. From allegations of firing employees for minor infractions to bizarre rules like not allowing crew members to look her in the eye, it was a wild ride. Then came her awkward apology on air, where she tried to laugh off the chaos while admitting things shouldn't have happened, but viewers weren't buying it, and ratings took a nosedive. Celebrities like Brad Garrett and Leah Thompson even chimed in, saying Ellen's nice persona was just a front. Fast forward to her 2024 Netflix special, where she joked about being kicked out of showbiz for being mean. It's clear she's trying to reclaim her narrative, but the damage was done. Who knew the Queen of Kindness had such a backstory? Alyssa Milano's GoFundMe goal hit, but so did the backlash. Alyssa Milano, once the darling of Who's the Boss, stirred up a social media storm when she launched a GoFundMe campaign to raise money for her 12-year-old son's baseball team's trip to Cooperstown. The internet wasn't charmed, with many questioning why a celebrity with an estimated $10 million net worth was asking for donations. Critics called her tone deaf and a rich beggar, especially after she attended the Super Bowl with her son shortly after the GoFundMe gained traction. Social media users pointed out the apparent contradiction of soliciting donations while seemingly affording expensive Super Bowl tickets. Alyssa defended her actions, explaining that every parent raises money for their kids' sports teams, and she couldn't afford to cover all the expenses herself. She highlighted that the team also organized its own fundraising events, like car washes and movie nights. She also slammed trolls targeting her son. Despite the backlash, the GoFundMe campaign surpassed its $10,000 goal. Turns out, Alyssa's real superpower might be turning any situation into a headline-worthy plot twist. Tiger's personal life went from par to bogey in a heartbeat. Tiger Woods, the golf prodigy, went from sinking putts to sinking sponsorships when his personal life became front-page news. In 2009, allegations of extramarital affairs surfaced, and suddenly, Tiger's carefully crafted image was in the rough. The scandal led to a cascade of companies dropping him faster than you can say 4. Accenture was the first major sponsor to cut ties, declaring Tiger no longer the right representative. Atant quickly followed suit. Gatorade also ended its relationship, discontinuing his branded drinks. Even Gillette, known for the best a man can get, distanced themselves. While Nike and Electronic Arts stuck by him, Tiger's endorsement deals plummeted, costing him an estimated $22 million in 2010. Procter & Gamble's CEO admitted they didn't need the distraction of using him in their advertising. It was a costly reminder that even the biggest stars aren't immune to the consequences of their actions. Talk about a rough lie. Janet and Justin's Super Bowl wardrobe malfunction changed halftime shows forever. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake's halftime performance at Super Bowl 38 in 2004 delivered a moment no one could forget. As the duo performed Rock Your Body, Justin tore off a piece of Janet's costume, briefly exposing her right chest was adorned with a delicate metallic accessory. Cue the collective gasp heard around the world. The incident, dubbed Nipplegate or Janetgate, led to immediate backlash and a tidal wave of complaints. The FCC fined CBS a record $550,000 for the indecency violation, though the fine was later voided. The NFL cut ties with MTV, who produced the halftime show, from future productions. Janet bore the brunt of the criticism, with many feeling Justin skated by relatively unscathed. Media commentators suggested that race and gender played a role in the disproportionate backlash against Janet. Justin himself admitted he only received about 10% of the blame compared to Janet. Years later, Justin was invited back to perform at the Super Bowl in 2018, prompting widespread backlash from those who felt Janet was unfairly punished. But you didn't think a little wardrobe slip could cause that much chaos. Some celebrities will do anything to stay in the spotlight, even if it means embarrassing themselves in ways they'll never live down. Blake Lively turned a movie set into a courtroom drama, because sometimes headlines matter more than the script. Blake Lively has spent years mastering Hollywood's favorite trick, staying relevant. But when It Ends With Us started losing steam, she made sure all eyes stayed on her by dragging a behind-the-scenes feud into the public spotlight. Lively's legal battle with Justin Baldoni didn't just appear out of nowhere. It conveniently unfolded right when the film needed buzz. Accusations flew, lawsuits followed, and suddenly, she wasn't just the lead actress, she was the center of the industry's latest controversy. Even Ryan Reynolds got roped in, ensuring the media circus had enough star power to last. Instead of letting the film speak for itself, Lively kept the drama going, turning personal disputes into a public spectacle. Whether she planned it or just played into it, one thing's for sure: It Ends With Us became less about the movie and more about her. Kanye West and drama go together like his name and the headlines. Kanye West didn't just attend the 67th Grammy Awards, he turned it into a spectacle. His wife, Bianca Censori, showed up in a sheer mesh slip dress that instantly became the night's biggest talking point. The outfit, which left little to the imagination, wasn't just about fashion. It was a calculated move straight from Kanye's PR playbook. This is the same man who, back in 2019, scolded Kim Kardashian on Keeping Up with the Kardashians for wearing a bold Met Gala outfit, saying it made him uncomfortable. Yet now, he's the biggest supporter of Bianca's ultra-revealing looks. The hypocrisy is glaring, but so is the intent. Drama equals attention, and Kanye knows exactly how to stir the pot. With his music no longer dominating the charts, this was a classic Kanye move. Grab headlines, spark debates, and keep people talking, and once again, it worked. Nothing screams desperate for attention like faking a career meltdown. Just ask Joaquin Phoenix. In 2008, Oscar winner Joaquin Phoenix announced he was quitting acting to become a rapper. Yes, that Joaquin Phoenix. What followed was a year of bizarre behavior, mumbling through interviews, looking like he lived under a bridge, and giving a painfully awkward late show appearance where he barely spoke. For months, people thought he had truly lost it. But nope, it was all an elaborate hoax for I'm Still Here, a mockumentary directed by Casey Affleck. The entire thing was just Phoenix method acting a breakdown, convincing the world he had gone off the deep end. While the stunt did generate buzz, it also made him look completely unhinged. Risking your credibility to fake a bad rap career? Bold choice. But hey, at least he didn't start a reality show. Lady Gaga showed up dressed like a butcher's leftovers, and PETA had a meltdown. At the 2010 MTV VMAs, Lady Gaga showed up literally wearing raw meat, flank steak draped over her body, a meat hat, and even meat boots. Designed by Frank Fernandez, the outfit instantly caused outrage, with animal rights activists losing their minds and the public wondering if she had finally lost hers. Gaga tried to justify it as a political statement against the military's "don't ask, don't tell" policy. But let's be real, nobody was thinking about diversity and inclusion rights while staring at slabs of beef stitched together. It was pure shock value, designed to dominate headlines, and it worked. The dress, now preserved as jerky, yes, really, sits in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because apparently rotting flesh counts as art. Gaga's meat dress was definitely a desperate bid to stay relevant in an industry where fading into obscurity is worse than looking ridiculous. Justin Bieber faked a privacy scandal because apparently just dropping a music video was too boring. To hype up beauty and a beat, Justin Bieber pulled off a hoax, claiming his laptop and camera were stolen, with a hacker threatening to leak personal footage. Fans panicked, media ran with it, and a mysterious Twitter account taunted him until the big leak turned out to be his own music video. It was a masterclass in fake drama, taking advantage of the internet's obsession with celebrity scandals. But when the truth came out, people felt played. Instead of sympathy, Bieber got side eyes for treating privacy breaches like a marketing gimmick. The stunt worked. People did talk about the video, but at the cost of credibility. Bieber proved that in Hollywood, even fake leaks can be strategic. The only real crime here, thinking we wouldn't see through it. Janet Jackson's career took a hit, Justin Timberlake walked away clean, and the internet got a front row seat to chaos. At Super Bowl Tour 8 in 2004, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake performed together until Timberlake ripped off part of her outfit, exposing her chest to millions. Jackson claimed that only her innerwear was meant to be revealed, but the damage was done. The media dubbed it Nipplegate, and the backlash was brutal. Jackson's music got blacklisted, her reputation took a hit, and Timberlake, he faced zero consequences. She later called it truly embarrassing. But the moment became bigger than her, so big it reportedly inspired the creation of YouTube. Instead of being remembered for her decades-long career, Jackson was reduced to a scandal that never really faded. One ripped costume, and suddenly, the industry turned its back on her, while Timberlake kept climbing. If there was ever proof of a double standard in Hollywood, this was it. Rita Ora tried to prove she had fans. Twitter proved otherwise. In a desperate attempt to hype her new single, Rita Ora tweeted that if she got 100,000 retweets, she'd drop new music. The internet responded with silence. The tweet barely got a fraction of the engagement she wanted, leaving her scrambling for damage control. Instead of admitting defeat, Rita pulled the classic "I got hacked" excuse, because apparently hackers break into celebrity accounts just to post flop tweets. Nobody bought it, and the whole thing became a case study in failed self-promotion. Instead of building anticipation, the stunt turned into a punchline. Celebrities love using social media to hype themselves up, but when the internet doesn't care, the embarrassment is louder than any song drop. Ora's PR move backfired spectacularly, proving that forcing virality can leave you more forgotten than famous. Madonna and subtlety? Never in the same sentence. Madonna has never shied away from theatrics, but her Tonight Show appearance promoting "Oh, Madame X" felt more like a midlife crisis than a publicity tour. Mid-interview, she climbed onto Jimmy Fallon's desk, knocked over his coffee, and flashed the audience because apparently subtlety doesn't sell headlines. Fallon, clearly uncomfortable, scrambled to cover her up with his jacket, but the damage and the secondhand embarrassment was done. This wasn't an isolated moment. On stage, she once called out an audience member for sitting, only to realize they were in a wheelchair. Her attempt at damage control? A half-hearted, "Oh, okay, politically incorrect, sorry." The Madonna of the past shocked the world with reinvention. Now, it's stunts like these keeping her name in the news. But at what point does boundary pushing turn into just plain awkward? Miley Cyrus twerked her way out of Disney and straight into drama. Miley Cyrus didn't just break free from her Hannah Montana image, she obliterated it. Her 2013 MTV VMA performance with Robin Thicke was less about music and more about shock value. Dressed in a barely there latex outfit, she twerked against Thicke, who was over 15 years older, while waving around a foam finger in ways it was never meant to be used. The internet went into a frenzy. Critics called it tasteless, and parents everywhere wished they could unsee it. But here's the thing. It worked. The scandal sold albums, rebranded her as a rebellious pop star, and guaranteed she'd never be seen as a Disney kid again. Years later, Miley admitted the entire thing was a calculated move. So, was it an act of artistic freedom, or just a masterclass in using drama for career reinvention? Either way, it made sure everyone was talking about her. Rihanna's 777 tour was supposed to be a dream trip, but it turned into a high-altitude hostage situation. In theory, Rihanna's 777 tour sounded like a genius idea. 7 concerts in 7 countries in 7 days, all while flying on a private Boeing 777 with 150 journalists and 35 lucky fans. In reality, it was less of a glamorous rock star experience and more of a survival challenge. The problem? Rihanna was barely around. Journalists who expected exclusive access to the star found themselves stuck on a plane with little sleep, no updates, and long waits on the tarmac. Food was scarce, tempers flared, and at one point, a desperate reporter even stripped naked and ran through the plane in protest. The so-called mutiny made bigger headlines than Rihanna's album Unapologetic, flipping the publicity stunt into an embarrassing PR disaster. Instead of an innovative marketing move, the 777 tour became a case study in how not to treat the press, unless you want them writing about their suffering instead of your music. These celebrity relationships seemed unshakable until leaked messages surfaced and turned everything upside down. Blake and Justin started as co-stars, but leaked texts turned their professional bond into a full-blown legal war. What seemed like friendly banter between Blake and Justin quickly became the center of a messy $400 million lawsuit. One leaked text had Blake describing her love language as spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. Another revealed she invited Justin to her trailer while pumping baby milk. Things got even wilder when Justin's team dropped 168 pages of private messages, including conversations with Ryan Reynolds, and even hints at Taylor Swift's involvement. The fallout? Claims of inappropriate behavior, defamation, and an urgent court order from Blake and Ryan to stop Justin from leaking more. One text even had Blake calling herself Khaleesi with Ryan and Taylor as her dragons. What started as a simple co-star dynamic ended with courtroom drama and Hollywood's biggest names caught in the crossfire. If this proves anything, it's that in showbiz, even text messages can cost millions. Kim and Kanye's marriage didn't just fall apart, it unraveled in front of millions. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's messy divorce became even more chaotic when Kanye repeatedly posted their private text conversations on social media. From custody battles to school choices, Kanye exposed it all, often deleting the messages just as quickly as he shared them. One heated exchange showed Kim urging him to stop making their disagreements public, while Kanye pushed back about their children's education, insisting they attend his Donda Academy instead of Kim's preferred schools. Another set of messages revealed tensions over custody, with Kim frustrated over Kanye's erratic behavior. By making their private battles public, Kanye turned their divorce into a spectacle, forcing Kim to handle both personal heartbreak and public scrutiny. Their 4 children were caught in the middle, and the leaks only fueled concerns about Kanye's emotional state. This case proved that when personal disputes go public, they can become weapons, especially in the hands of someone unfiltered. Jason and Olivia said their breakup was mutual, until leaked texts told a very different story. Jason and Olivia's split was already making headlines, but things got messier when their former nanny spilled the tea. Leaked texts showed Jason blindsided by Olivia's exit, contradicting their amicable breakup claims. One message read, "She left, she just left." Another painted a heartbreaking scene. She left them, wide awake, sitting in Daisy's bed. The timing? Harsh. Rumors were swirling about Olivia and Harry, and suddenly Jason's private pain was front-page news. According to the nanny, he was out of control crying and desperate to fix things. These texts flipped the script. Fans who once believed in a clean break now saw a blindsided Jason and an Olivia who may have downplayed the chaos. What should have been a private matter between 2 parents turned into a Hollywood saga. The lesson? Breakups are bad enough without your texts turning into headlines. Meghan and MGK's love story was already a wild ride, but a few messages may have brought it to a screeching halt. Their relationship had always been dramatic, but things took a final turn when Meghan allegedly found texts from other women on MGK's phone during a Thanksgiving trip. The timing couldn't have been worse. She had just announced her pregnancy, and instead of solidifying their bond, the discovery shattered it. Insiders say Meghan was over it and fed up with MGK's behavior. She had tried to rebuild trust, but this was the last straw. While their on-again, off-again dynamic made some wonder if they'd reconcile yet again, this time felt different. Her friends, who had never been fans of MGK, were reportedly relieved. For a couple known for grand gestures and fiery passion, it seems a few text messages were enough to burn it all down. Diddy and Cassie's relationship always seemed complicated, but private messages pulled back the curtain on something far more disturbing. What looked like a glamorous music industry romance unraveled when texts between them surfaced, revealing the darker side of their dynamic. In one chilling message, Cassie wrote, "When you get F*** head up the wrong way, you always want to show me that you have the power and you knock me around. I'm not a rag doll, I'm someone's child." The words painted a painful picture, one that aligned with a 2016 surveillance video showing an alleged altercation. Diddy once dismissed past incidents as private matters, but these messages suggested something far more troubling. The fallout wasn't just personal, it shook his reputation, business ventures, and public image. For Cassie, it became a moment of validation, exposing what had been hidden behind closed doors. Sometimes the truth doesn't come from interviews or statements, it's in the messages people never expected the world to see. Adam Levine was known for love songs, but his DMs told a different story. The Maroon 5 frontman's carefully crafted family man image took a major hit when model Sumner Stroh shared flirty messages he had sent her. The timing couldn't have been worse. His wife, Behati Prinsloo, was pregnant with their third child. To make things worse, one of his messages suggested he wanted to name the baby after Stroh. Adam quickly denied a physical affair but admitted he had crossed the line. Still, the damage was done. The public reaction was swift, turning his private messages into headlines. While he and Prinsloo chose to stay together, the scandal forced them to work through personal struggles under the glare of public scrutiny. It's a reminder that in the digital age, a single DM can rewrite a public image overnight. Tory Lanez tried to deny everything, but his messages had other plans. In the aftermath of the July 2020 shooting that left Megan Thee Stallion injured, Tory Lanez repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. But a private message he sent Megan told a different story. "I know you probably never gone talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart," he wrote. That text, revealed in court, became a turning point in the case. While Tony and his defense team argued for his innocence, this message contradicted him, serving as key evidence in his eventual conviction. For Megan, it was both validation and a harsh reminder of the scrutiny she faced when she spoke out. For Tony, it was another nail in the coffin, contributing to his 10-year prison sentence and destroying his career. The case is a reminder. When the truth is in writing, there's no escaping it. Jeff Bezos had billions of dollars, but not enough privacy to keep his affair a secret. In early 2019, intimate text messages between Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and TV host Lauren Sanchez leaked, exposing an affair while both were still married. Some messages were so explicit that tabloids labeled them sleazy, turning Bezos' private life into a media frenzy. Within weeks, he announced his divorce from Mackenzie Scott after 25 years of marriage. The leak became even messier when Bezos alleged the National Enquirer's parent company of blackmail, claiming they threatened to release more messages unless he stopped investigating how they got them. Instead of backing down, he exposed their alleged extortion attempt in a public Medium post. The scandal deepened when it was revealed that Lauren's own brother, Michael Sanchez, had allegedly leaked the messages. What started as a personal crisis turned into a high-stakes battle over privacy, power, and betrayal, one that reshaped Bezos' personal and public life forever. Some mistakes happen once. Tristan Thompson made a habit out of them. Khloe Kardashian's relationship with NBA player Tristan Thompson has been a public roller coaster, repeatedly shattered by leaked texts exposing his infidelity. One of the earliest scandals erupted in 2019 when messages between Tristan and Jordan Woods, Kylie Jenner's then best friend, surfaced, effectively ending both his relationship with Khloe and Woods' ties to the Kardashian-Jenner family. Then came the Marilee Nichols scandal. Court documents revealed texts where Tristan not only denied fathering her child, but also suggested she terminate the pregnancy, offering little financial support. DNA tests later confirmed the child was his, making his attempts to dodge responsibility even more damaging. Despite attempts at reconciliation, these leaked messages made forgiveness impossible. While Khloe and Tristan now co-parent their daughter True, the trust between them has been permanently broken. His story is a reminder that in the digital age, repeated betrayals don't just hurt relationships, they leave a permanent record. Some messages can change everything, and Jonah Hill learned that the hard way. Jonah Hill faced intense scrutiny when private text messages exposing his controlling behavior in a past relationship were leaked. The messages, revealed by his ex-girlfriend, professional surfer Sarah Brady, painted Jonah as manipulative, using therapy speak to set restrictive boundaries that many viewed as red flags. He allegedly dictated how she should dress, who she could befriend, and what activities were acceptable, all under the guise of respecting his needs. The drama erupted at a time when Hill had been shifting his public image, advocating for emotional health awareness. The texts, however, created a sharp contrast between his progressive, self-aware persona and his private interactions. While Hill did not directly address the backlash, the revelations altered public perception, with many questioning the authenticity of his carefully crafted image.
From breaking the law to lying about plane crashes, here's our list of embarrassing times these celebrities got busted for lying. Now, starting off, we have to talk about the infamous college scandal. Now, some famous Nepo babies and their families were exposed for lying to get into college in the year 2020. In the scandal, wealthy parents paid bribes to get their children accepted into prestigious universities, and one celebrity who did this was Lori Loughlin and her husband for their daughters Olivia Jade and Isabella. Now, Lori and her husband paid $500,000 to get their two daughters into the University of Southern California as members of the college rowing team, despite neither of the girls ever rowing before. Now, they even staged photos for this. Olivia was pretty famous online in her own right, so when it was exposed that she lied on her application, a lot of people called her out. Lori ended up being caught in the lies and pled guilty to conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud and was sentenced to 2 months in prison, receive a $150,000 fine, 2 years probation, and 250 hours of community service. Now, when she was first accused, she was fired from the Full House reboot Fuller House, as well as When Calls the Heart. Now, Felicity Huffman was another celebrity involved in the college admission scandal, along with her husband, William H. Macy. Felicity made a so-called charitable contribution of $15,000 to participate in the college entrance exam cheating scheme on behalf of her eldest daughter, Sophia Grace May. Now, the couple then made arrangements to do the same for their younger daughter, but later decided against it. Now, she pled guilty to fraud charges and was sentenced to 14 days in prison. She then had to publicly apologize for her role in the scandal, admitting she paid to improve her daughter's SAT scores. Felicity and Lori were among dozens of wealthy parents who were charged with participating in schemes to bribe coaches and university insiders or cheat on entrance exams. Now, Lindsay Lohan was known to get into some trouble in the past. From the years 2007 to 2012, Lindsay broke the law a lot. I mean, she had a bunch of DUIs, which resulted in a judge ordering her to spend time working in the LA County morgue, hoping it would help give her insight into the harsh consequences of drinking and driving, which honestly sounds like a great idea. It wasn't even hard work either, as she had to perform janitorial duties at the morgue twice a week while free on bail. Now, she completed this, but later, during an interview, Lindsay would claim that while working at the morgue, she had to roll a body bag for singer Whitney Houston. Now, Whitney did pass away during the period of time Lindsay worked at the morgue, but TMZ later disproved her comments, confirming with the LA morgue that Whitney was never in a body bag and no one in the probation program came in contact with Whitney's body. Now, Lindsay, on the other hand, said that she did do it and that it was effed up and inappropriate. A lot of other people were meant to do it and they were like, no, they can't handle it, Lohan can, she said. Now, she noted it was different for her than other people and added, I know it sounds really dark and strange, but I thought it could be a lot worse. But then again, the morgue confirmed that Whitney was never in a body bag and that she was lying. Now, Lance Armstrong is known for being a road racing cyclist, as he was quite accomplished accomplished as he won the Tour de France 7 consecutive times from 1999 to 2005. With his success though, he was accused a lot of doping, and there was even a Lance Armstrong doping case brought against him. Lance continually denied allegations of using performance-enhancing medication for 13 years until he appeared on an interview with Oprah Winfrey in January 2013. While there, he finally admitted to cheating in sports, stating, "I view this situation as one big lie that I repeated a lot of times." He confessed that he had used banned performance-enhancing medication throughout much of his cycling career, most recently in 2005. He admitted that he used EPO, human growth hormone, and that he had blood doped as well as falsified documents saying he passed tests. Now, doping helped him for each of his 7 Tour de France wins, so due to this, he was stripped from all of his titles. He reportedly lost $75 million of sponsorship income in one day. Then, in November 2013, he settled a lawsuit with Acceptance Insurance Company as they had sought to recover the $3 million it had paid Lance as bonuses for winning the Tour de France from 1999 to 2001. The suit was then settled for an undisclosed sum one day before Lance was scheduled to give a deposition under oath. Back in 2001, America's sweetheart Martha Stewart got caught insider trading. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the TV personality sold nearly 4,000 shares of I'm Clone System stock, all based on insider information from her Merrill Lynch broker. Now, the day after her sale, the stock value dropped dramatically. She was eventually indicted on 9 counts by the government, which included obstruction of justice and securities fraud. And now, after a 6-week trial in March of 2004, the jury found Martha guilty of felony charges, including lying to federal investigators, obstruction of an agency proceeding, and a conspiracy to obstruct. 2 months later, she was sentenced to 5 months in a federal facility, followed by 2 years of supervised release with 5 months electric monitoring. Now, Martha served her time in West Virginia on October 8, 2004, and was released on March 4, 2005. Now, Paula Abdul claimed that she lived through a plane crash in 1992 while she was on her Under My Spell tour. The thing is though, no one can find a shred of proof that this actually happened. While she sometimes changes the details of the alleged plane crash whenever she recounts the story publicly, she has maintained several key details, including that she traveled on a 7-seater from St. Louis to Denver and that the plane landed in a cornfield. She also claimed the rough landing caused her to undergo 15 cervical spinal surgeries, which forced her to take 7 years off of work following the incident. Now, in 2023, she was still maintaining that the plane crash happened, and it did in fact cause her to undergo 15 surgeries. She told Michael Rosenbaum on the Inside of You podcast, "I want to get this out there because people go, there's no record of her ever getting in a crash landing." She then explained that she was on her first world tour and that the plane's engine blew up and she was knocked out. It's just crazy though, because there's literally no record of it anywhere, and if there was a plane crash, especially involving an A-list star at the time, you'd think the story would be everywhere. But nope, it hasn't been. She's the only one who's really spoken about it, which really makes people think that she's lying. Now, Millie Bobby Brown is known for her acting in the series Stranger Things, but it seems like her amazing acting skills didn't transfer over to her promoting her beauty and skincare line. Now, to promote her brand, she posted a supposed skincare routine video on YouTube, and viewers quickly caught on that not only did the makeup not come off as she was scrubbing her face, but her hands were dry after she claimed to have squirted product on them. It was honestly quite funny, but fans called her out for it. Now, to be fair, she was very young at the time, and she thought she only had to demonstrate herself using the products, not actually using them. Now, due to the backlash, she posted an apology on Instagram saying, "I'm still learning the best way to share my routines as I get to know the space better. I'm not an expert. I thought doing a quick video replicating my personal process for that night was okay, but that's not what was conveyed. I understand. I appreciate all of your feedback on this journey. Please keep sharing your thoughts and I will too." Now, it seems like this was an honest mistake, but it sure was funny. And finally, after becoming famous when she married actor Alec Baldwin in 2012, Hilaria Baldwin focused on showing people her lifestyle and how her Spanish heritage was a big part of it. According to Insider, she even claimed to have been born in Malcoria, Spain, including it on her official talent agency profile for CAA, despite having been born in Boston. again. Now, in 2020, people started to bust holes in the various stories she had told, including one that suggested she moved to the United States from Spain at age 19 to go to NYU. But per page 6, Hilaria went to school in Weston, Massachusetts, and her parents only moved to Spain when she was 27, which is crazy considering that she spoke with a Spanish accent, which was ultimately revealed to be fake. Now, a clip from today had even been posted everywhere showing her pretending to forget the word for cucumber. Now, a month later, she posted a lengthy apology on Instagram, writing, "The way I've spoken about myself and my deep connection to two cultures, American and Spanish, could have been better explained. I should have been more clear and I'm sorry." Now, the craziest thing about this though is that her legal name is actually Hillary.
Infamous meltdowns caught on camera. Here's the best, worst live interviews that showed celebrities absolutely losing it. Charlie Sheen, in a rather strange interview with ABC in February of 2011 that left almost everyone saying, "What did I just witness?" His career took another dip after the Hollywood star gave a string of bizarre answers defending his past indulgence with illegal substances and parties. The actor, who was interviewed by ABC's Andrea Canning, spent a good chunk of time blasting Two and a Half Men creator Chuck Lorre, and to note, at the time, Sheen had been fired from his starring role in the show after a series of bizarre incidents, including a wild night in Las Vegas and a trip to the hospital's psychiatric ward, and also a series of just erratic and often incoherent public statements. So during this interview, he could be heard calling Lorre a turd and a clown, presumably, for firing him. He also said the producers of the show ripped him off, and he famously proclaimed he was not bipolar, but instead bi-winning. That one sentence would go on to actually be one of the most iconic quotes of our time, with people to this day referencing it and using it, for memes alike. Now, the internet went wild as one of Hollywood's most, polarizing celebrities experienced a rather public meltdown. During the interview with Canning, Charlie Sheen explains that he has tiger blood, and when she asked, the last time he used, he said, "I don't use. I use a blender, I use a vacuum cleaner," but ultimately said, he can't really remember the last time he used illegal substances. Canning later inquires about Sheen's relentless partying, and Sheen actually suggests that he makes Frank Sinatra and Keith Richards look like droopy-eyed, armless children, whatever that is supposed to mean. Now, from beginning to end, Sheen seems to, celebrate his obvious meltdown, leading many to fear for his physical and psychological health. Despite, the controversy surrounding this interview, it actually remains a very fascinating and slightly disturbing glimpse into the mind of a troubled celebrity at the height of a meltdown. You would assume that this very public meltdown would have destroyed him and the show Two and a Half Men, but nope, it actually did the opposite. The next airing of the show, and I'll note it was a rerun, had the most ratings in its history and was the most watched show on television that night. So if that doesn't prove how much people have a hot mess, I don't know what will. Next up, Tom Cruise. In 2005, this American actor sat down with NBC's Matt Lauer to discuss War of the Worlds and his life in general. Now, Tom Cruise was all smiles talking about his movie, but the smile disappeared when Matt Lauer mentioned Cruise's earlier criticism of Brooke Shields for taking antidepressants. Now, the interview was tense and became a very strong pop culture moment. Now, the interview covered topics like Scientology, fame, and the merits of pharmaceutical, substances. Now, future wife Katie Holmes was all smiles, and Tom Cruise seems genuinely content, but when Lauer begins prying into his personal life and Scientology, the drama then begins. When speaking about, psychiatry, Tom takes a patronizing tone and his facial expression just changes drastically. Cruise said, he didn't agree with psychiatry and that problems could be cured through vitamins and exercise. Cruise and Lauer debated the merits of pharmaceutical substances. He criticized Lauer for advocating the use of Ritalin and said he didn't believe in psychiatry. Tom also said there is no such thing as a chemical imbalance. Cruise got very serious and kept saying Matt every time Lauer said he knew people who were helped by antidepressants. Now, Lauer pushes back and so does Tom, but only one of them appears to be, visually mad. Cruise insisted that he wanted to keep his relationship with Katie Holmes out of the spotlight. However, Lauer asked Cruise if his engagement to Holmes was a publicity stunt for War of the Worlds, which of course was met with a very frustrated Cruz saying, you know what? There's always cynics. There always has been, there always will be. I have never worried about what other people think and what other people say. By the end, Cruz, essentially slaps Lauer on the wrist for challenging him, all the while pointing, his finger and melting down like only he can. Lauer called the interview his most awkward interview ever. Chris Brown is up. In 2011, this pop star's Good Morning America appearance began with a smile, but he ultimately left angry and actually shirtless. Now, this interview itself is brief, with Robin Roberts focusing mostly on Brown's past and public image rather than his new album. On camera, Brown stays focused and even performs a song, but backstage, however, allegedly he burst into like a violent rage as he reportedly threw a cooler and broke a dressing room window. Now, things went sour when Roberts began the conversation by asking about Rihanna. Although Brown, tried to divert the questions to focus on Fame, which was his new album, Roberts continued to drill him about his troubled past, which clearly did not sit well with Brown. He said to Roberts, "I've been focusing on this album. I think this album is what I want people to hear and want people to really get into." He said that while attempting to redirect the interview. He then added, "Definitely this album is what I want to talk about and not what happened 2 years ago." This interview came actually 2 years after pleading guilty to charges, and Chris Brown was clearly not pleased that his past kept catching up with him. Brown didn't appreciate Robin Roberts, prying about his situation with Rihanna and all the hate that he got, so cue the meltdown and backstage hysterics. Now, Brown stormed backstage after the interview. He smashed a window with a chair, causing it to shatter and for the shards of glass to fall on the sidewalk of 43rd Street and Broadway. Security was reportedly called to the scene, but by the time they actually arrived, a very shirtless Brown was headed out the door. Shortly after the incident, Brown took to Twitter and wrote, "I'm so over people bringing up the past, yet we praise, Charlie Sheen and other celebs for their BS." He has since deleted that post, of course, followed with a series of tweets that, like his album, are dedicated to his fans. He posted one that said, "All my fans, this album is for you and only you. I'm so tired of everyone else. I love Team Breezy." And honestly, to this day, people talk about this interview, but as far as fans are concerned, what's done is done. Kanye West, you knew he was coming. Over the years, this musical artist has given us numerous meltdown moments to choose from, but perhaps the most bizarre one came in 2013 on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Now, Kanye West was already upset because of a previous skit, and he used the ABC platform to have a man-to-man discussion about ego, the fashion world, and his public image. It's a revealing interview that gives us insight into how Kanye sees himself, but it's also an absolute train wreck, especially when Yeezy compares himself to Jesus himself and reminds everybody once again that he's like a creative genius. The interview actually spanned over 20 minutes, where he basically just talked to and about himself. Now, funny enough, it was this particular, interview that ended a feud that he had with the late night host. They actually made peace, and many people did say it was surprisingly sincere, and their discussion about the pressures of being a celebrity was eye-opening. Now, their original feud started when Kimmel debuted a sketch actually on his show, in which children kind of reenacted an interview West gave to BBC Radio 1's Zane Lowe. West had then responded to the sketch by going on a Twitter rant against Kimmel and calling him to demand a public apology. When Kanye came on for this interview, Kimmel admitted that he'd only watched a little bit of the BBC, radio interview when they did that, and he said that he mostly did that sketch because he finds it funny to see kids curse. West said he poured his frustrations from years of tabloid press into his Twitter tirade against Kimmel because he did not personally, know members of the media who write bad headlines about him, but he knew Kimmel and had previously been friendly with him. West said, "This is one person I know, so I can go and let out everything that I feel about every single bogus weekly cover, every single bogus skit, every person who feels like it's okay to treat celebrities like zoo animals." Kimmel acknowledged that he has also felt like a zoo animal under media scrutiny, but wondered if West brings some of the backlash on himself. He said, "A lot of people think you are a jerk. I often in my own personal conversations say, no, I know this guy, he is not a jerk." As evidence, Kimmel actually then showed to the audience a picture of West smiling with the TV host's, father at a wedding, and recounted actually how nice the rapper was to everyone there. So, although many people watched what seemed like kind of a public meltdown on live TV, it would actually turn out that this one, created some peace and harmony between the two, which would lead to Kanye being a guest several more times over the years. Quentin Tarantino is next on my list. Now, Krishnan Guru Murthy of England's Channel 4 received a big surprise when this Django Unchained director shunned his questions about violence. It's no secret that, Tarantino has made some of the bloodiest films of the past 25 years, but in this interview, he gets heated up when asked about the real life implications. When the interviewer chuckles, Tarantino lights him up with a verbal attack. Between, his overall body language and the daggers in his eyes, it's clear that Tarantino is absolutely serious. Now, Quentin started the interview with a very cool demeanor, but the Tarantino train sure, derailed quite quickly. Now, Tarantino faced a series of questions about Django Unchained's depiction of slavery, and his frustration kind of spilled over in this early 2013 interview. Now, Django Unchained charts, the fortunes of a black slave turned bounty hunter in the American Deep South. Tarantino admitted that he relished making violent films, but insisted it's a movie, it's a fantasy, it's not real life. When asked how he could be sure that there was no link between, enjoying screen violence and enjoying real violence, the director refused to respond, saying, I'm not answering your question. He said, I'm not your slave, you're not my master, it's none of your business what I think about that. Not long into the interview, he became visibly agitated and defensive. Once Krishnan asked him specifically that question about the link between movie violence and real violence. And in my opinion, it is a fair question, but to Tarantino, not so much. He still refused to answer the question, stating that he didn't want to be lectured by him and that, the question was silly and boring. Now, the interview became super heated, with Tarantino telling Krishnan that he was being shoddy and dishonest in his line of questioning. Tarantino insisted that he had discussed this issue on numerous occasions, stretching all the way back to his, 1992 debut Reservoir Dogs. He said, the reason I don't want to talk about it is because I've already talked about it. I'm already on the record. I have explained this many times in the last 20 years. When asked again why he likes making violent movies, he simply just said because it's good cinema. The interview then ended abruptly, of course. He refused to continue, and he was looking very taken aback by the whole thing. Now, the incident sparked a lot of debate and discussion in the media, with some people defending, Tarantino's right to refuse to answer the question, but others also criticized him for being just overly defensive and aggressive.